Air Peace and Brazilian aerospace company Embraer have signed a contract for 3 additional E195-E2, confirming purchase rights from the original contract signed in April this year. The airline said the new E195-E2s, with a value of $212.6 million based on Embraer's current list prices. With the new signing at the Dubai Air Show, Air Peace has now made a total firm order of 13 of the aircraft, which would have dual configurations with 12-seater business class and 102-seater economy class. This comes on the heels of the Accident Investigation Bureau's release of the 3 preliminary reports on incidents involving 3 aircraft operated by the airline. In its recommendations, the AIB urged the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority to ensure that all airline operators review their standard operating procedures. The Nigerian Airspace Management Agency has been explaining the importance of the instrument landing system. The tools which aid precision landing is also used to provide descent guidance signals for guidance to aircraft for landing on the runway. The helmsman of NAMA explains more.
When you have an instrument landing system, it provides you with precision guidance in 3 dimensions, in the vertical plane and the lateral plane, for you to be aligned with the center line of the runway and to be able to arrive overhead the threshold at a height that will be comfortable for you to make a decent landing. And the Cat 2 ILS that we have is 800 meters. But with Cat 3 you can get 50 meters, which is more than a wide margin from our lowest point. Usually in Lagos, Kano, maybe up north, it might go down to 100 meters, at 200 meters usually. So with a Category 3 system, we should be able to get into most of our airports.
Dana Air says it has lifted 5.4 million passengers in its 11 years of operation. The airline says it hopes to double the figure by sustaining its operational efficiency, increasing its fleet size, maintaining its record on-time performance and raising its service delivery levels. The airline, which recently acquired a Boeing 737 aircraft, says it looks to create more flights and provide capacity at undeserved destinations.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to our...
Boeing has said that the return of its 737 MAX to service is dependent on regulators, which includes the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration and its global counterparts. It's solely their decision to approve changes to the jet in the wake of 2 accidents. U.S. officials had privately said that Boeing's timetable was aggressive, if not unrealistic, and was not cleared in advance by regulators.
We remain very focused while we're working to safely return the MAX, also to continue to think about the investments we have to make in the future. The 777X is a great example of an investment and an airplane that will one more time, like its predecessor, the 777, change the world.
South African Airways says 6 continental flights will operate from Tuesday, November the 19th. The airline said customers traveling on the airline's regional network to Accra, Lagos, Lusaka, Maputo, Windhoek and Harare will be rebooked. Flights were cancelled last weekend after thousands of employees went on strike over wages and the national carriers plan to restructure. South African Airways, which has not turned a profit since 2011, is reliant on state bailouts. The walkout by unions representing more than half of its workforce will cost it 50 million rand. That's about $3.36 million a day, which is also a threat to its survival.
We've got all the ground staff off. Are you happy for us to close the door?
Following a similar flight from New York to Sydney last month, QANTAS airline has completed a near 20-hour non-stop research flight from London to Sydney in the face of its desire to order planes for what will be the world's longest ever commercial route to witness 2 sunrises. The chief executive officer of the airline shared his view on board the flight.
So our intention is to have a bigger sea pitch in economy than we've ever done before, have dedicated stretching areas in economy. So it is a very designed product for long haul travel like Sydney-London and Sydney to New York. We're particularly designing the product for these ultra long haul sectors. Already on Perth-London in our economy, we have the highest satisfaction levels in economy of any route on our network. We're aiming to do that on the ultra long haul flights as well, and we think given the unique IP that we're developing, we absolutely can deliver on that.
The London-Sydney research flight was operated by a Boeing 787 Dreamliner with 50 passengers on board. The plane also had fuel remaining for roughly about 1 hour 45 minutes of flight time. 6 people in business class wore devices that would allow researchers to analyze food and beverage intake, sleep patterns, lighting, physical activity and in-flight entertainment to assess the impact on health and well-being. Pilots also wore electroencephalogram to monitor alertness and brainwave patterns.
And what we've done basically with this team, multidisciplinary, across physical activity, exercise, nutrition and chronobiology, is to design 3 very important things on the flight. First, the lighting, then the meal schedule and the meal composition, and physical activity on board. And why are we doing that? This is to, on this very long flight, to help people to adjust better when they arrive in Sydney and to reduce jet lag on arrival.
The flight is also historic because it comes almost 100 years to the day when the first London to Australia flight was operated.
I actually feel fantastic. I feel really well. Probably a lot better than I normally would at this point in the flight, to be honest. I think, I was thinking about it, I think because there's only one time zone change, whereas ordinarily I'd have to get used to, albeit really short, a time zone change when I'm thinking about my transfer for the next flight. So I think that's helped. So yeah, I'm a big fan so far.
To fully operate this ultra-long-haul flight, the airline needs to get pilots to agree on contract terms and a sign-off from Australia's aviation regulator to order planes this year to launch the flights by 2023. Captain HELEN TRENERRY, who led the flight, said research data, including activity monitoring, sleep diaries, and monitoring of melatonin levels, would help determine whether the crew mix of 1 captain, 1 first officer, and 2 second officers used on the flight was appropriate.
So I think the research data now will go a long way towards making the case for that in how we manage our rest and our well-being, and how we have days off afterwards and before a trip, and also what we do when we're in port as well.
QANTAS has been considering an order for either an ultra-long-range version of Airbus SE's A350-1000 or the Boeing company's plane, although the latter's plane's entry into service has been delayed, and so Boeing has put together an alternative offer to deal with that. If QANTAS goes ahead, the route will be launched in 2023. This is where we take a bow on the program. I'm Bukola Joe Kitumbi. See you next week, God's willing.